What's going on, troops? Welcome in for today's Truth Talk. Ooh-wee, good conversation piece today that I want to talk about. So I definitely know that there are some people that need to hear this message. So as you guys come in, please, 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 please share this video out because we're going to take a really deep dive into the world of self-worth and self-value. And there are a lot of people that really, really, truly struggle with assigning their own value and instead assume the worth that other people put on them, and then that leads them to down a path of self-destruction and self-sabotaging behaviors. So as you guys come in, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Marci Batiste. I'm your ultimate power coach, America's #1 reality-based success and recovery trainer, here to help you get over your stumbling blocks, take ownership of your life, relationships, and business so that you can truly experience life unedited. Create that custom-fitted life. Like, it's so possible. And so, to that point, Truth Talks is conversations where we can get together and have a real conversation about real situations that real people deal with. So that's what Truth Talks is all about. That's who I am, and I am glad that you are here today. Like I said, share the video out. The topic today, it actually comes from a post that I did this morning that was about allowing other people to, hey David, what's going on? Allowing other people to assign worth to you. And I said, you have to set the standard for your value. And so I got a couple inboxes like, hey, what does that mean? You know, I did a comment to try and explain it more, but I wanted to, what that told me was there's a lot of interest here and people don't really get it. And this is an important part of any healing journey, any growth journey. When you go on to decide that you're going to make any kind of personal or professional transformation, worth and value is a really important aspect of what that's going to look like when it's all grown up. So, like I said, the post said something about not allowing other people to assign worth, but instead you set the standard for your value. And then I explained how value and worth, they're not equal. They're not even created equally. But people tend to want to use the words as if they're interchangeable, and they're not. And so I was explaining that worth is something that is assigned externally versus value, which is assigned internally. And so, you know, there's a saying where they talk about when you know what you bring to the table, you're not afraid to eat alone, and you see all the posts about know your worth, know your worth. I challenge you to know the value that you bring to the table. I challenge you to know your value to the world. And in doing so, you will be able to shut down and make decisions based on what you know your value to be, not what they tell you your worth is to them. And so that external worth piece. So what does that look like? That someone else assigning worth is them saying, this is what it means to me. This is how much I'm willing to pay for it. This is how much I'm willing to give in exchange for whatever the thing is, whether it's your time, whether it's a product, a service, whatever. They're telling you, based on what they assign as the worth, this is what they're willing to exchange for it. Money, time, energy, whatever. Versus value, you're saying, okay, this is the product that I'm bringing to the market. This is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what I'm going to contribute to the world, to this relationship, to whatever the case may be. This is my contribution, and this is how much I see that it can give to you or to others, and so therefore I've assigned this value to it. I've assigned this value to myself because I know what contributions I can make. I know what my value is. So bringing that into a perspective that maybe might be a little bit easier to understand. When we look at real estate, for instance, so I own my house, right? To me, I love my house. You know, it's got the pool out back and the pool house with the guest shower, and I built it when my kids were born, and I was going to raise my family here, and it's going to be my legacy estate and all of these things, right? And so this, to me, my house might be worth, to me, the value to the house is somewhere between $500,000 and priceless, right? That's the value that I've assigned to it. However, the appraiser comes and he says, hey, ma'am, I'm going to go through your house and I'm going to tell you what your house is worth. Okay? So now, internally, within my home, within my world, within my space, and all the things that I can control, I've said the value of my real estate is $500,000 to priceless. Because that's what I feel the value is. Appraiser says, nah, it needs to have some work done. It needs an AC unit replaced. It needs all the carpet pulled up. Floors have to be redone. The garage needs a new roof. Blah, 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 blah. Long and short of it, we say that your house is actually worth $250,000. I'm like, whoa. It's worth way more than that to me. I have a higher value placed on my real estate than what this appraiser just did. So I'm gonna get with my real estate agent. We list it. We put it on the market. Buyers start coming through the property, and then they say, "Oh, well, we'll give you an offer of $175,000 because we feel like that's what the property is worth to us." Now, to me, my value for this property is still $500K to priceless. The appraiser says it's worth $250,000, and the buyer says it's worth $175,000. So I have a choice at that point. Hey, Sean, I know, right? So I have a point. I have a choice at that point to say, okay, I see the value. I know the value. This is what it's worth to me. I'm not gonna sell right now. I might hedge my bets to say that the market's going to change, that other people will someday be able to see the value that I see and then therefore think that it's worth paying the price that I want to get for it. Okay? So that's kind of in a real life scenario. Another look at it. So there is someone gave me a gift years and years and years ago. It was a handkerchief that was given to them by their grandfather. Okay? And the conversation that we had in the context in which the handkerchief was passed on to me, that handkerchief, I've had it for probably 15 years. I kept it in my car as good luck until I recently sold my car. This handkerchief has gone everywhere with me as it went everywhere with the person. And so that person felt like there's a high value to this handkerchief because of what it meant to them. They had assigned a certain value to it. When they gave it to me as a gift, I received that value in that handkerchief. Now, if you saw the handkerchief laying on a table in a restaurant, you say, oh, that ain't worth nothing, and you probably throw it away. But to me, the value that I've assigned internally, because the emotion that I've attached to it, is that it's invaluable. It's priceless because it had a sentimental value to me that I assigned to it. So while I see a value in it that you might not see, it doesn't mean that the value is not priceless. No more than you saying it's worthless means that it's worthless. And so when we're talking about self-esteem and we're talking about our contribution to the world and to relationships and to business, you have to be really, really clear what your value is and have that clarity to say, no, this is my contribution. This is how it can help you. This is why my value is what it is. And if you can't see it, then I don't want to do business with you. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I don't want to have this conversation with you because you don't understand my value. Now, sometimes it's up to me to be able to demonstrate and help them see, oh, no. I have a far higher value than for what you give me credit for. You think my worth is XYZ, but I'm going to tell you it's exponentially higher because of what I can do for you, because of my experience, because of my connections, because of my work ethic, whatever the case may be. I can make a case to help you to see the value that I've placed in me and how that is going to increase the worth that you're able to see in it. But you might not have started out seeing any worth in it. You might have thought, man, she ain't about that. She ain't about that. And left it alone, right? Versus someone else saying and telling you what you are worth or what you aren't worth. And in particular, you get into circles, friendships, relationships, family ships, where people are trying to tell you that you ain't worth this because you don't do this, or you don't contribute this, or you didn't do this right, or you made this mistake, or you made this misstep back in 1987. What they assign to you doesn't have to be your value. That is where they're stuck. They might be stuck back on your mishap and your misstep back in 1987. That doesn't mean you have to hang out there. You've moved on. You've grown. You've added some new tools to your toolbox. Your arsenal looks different than it did in 2018 than it did back in 1987. So let them hang out in the playground. There's not a thing in 2018. If you look at the cost of a cell phone in 2018, the cell phones are running for like $1,000. But a cell phone that was made back in whenever cell phones came out, because y'all know I'm not technologically, all up to date and whatever, but cell phones been out for what, 20 years? So if you give me a 20-year-old cell phone, it's going to still make phone calls. I'm still going to be able to send text messages, but the worth that I place on that 20-year-old cell phone versus the one that I place on the new Samsung, totally different. This has a greater value to me. That one has no value to me. I'm assigning a less worth to that. Even though they do the same thing, they have the same function. And people tend to do that to people. And the problem is we assume and take on whatever value those other people have placed on us. And we internalize that and say, oh, well, so-and-so is pretty smart, so if they say I can't do it, then I probably can't do it. Hell no. Get over it. Of course you can. But you can if you can't if you can't get yourself past that to be able to say, no. I heard what you said. I know what they said about me. I understand that. But that's not who I am. That's not my value. My value is far, far, far above. And you have to also remember that sometimes your value is above their ceiling. And if your value is above their ceiling, it doesn't matter what you do, they will not be able to see it. Because they're not going to go through the work that it's going to take to make the breakthrough, to break through the ceiling, to be able to see you. And to be able to see your value, because your value is so much higher. That's why worth and value are not interchangeable. They're not exchangeable. You assign, you set the standard for your value. You know the contribution that you're going to make to the team. You know the contribution that you're going to make to the family, to the relationship. You know the contribution that you can bring to the world. You set the standard for your value. You don't let somebody else do that for you. They have no idea what's within you. Your potential is endless. But you have to be able to believe that, first and foremost. And then you got to be able to adjust your crown and step out into the world and act like it. Nobody's going to believe your value if you're not walking as if you have value. If you're not holding your head up as if you have value. Nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to buy it. It's like when you go to the beautician and her hair is jacked up. And I just wear ponytails, and even I know I ain't letting nobody fool my hair when their hair is jacked up themselves. So to me, now you might have this great a degree in whatever kind of hairstyles and dyeing and cosmetology and all this other stuff. But if your hair is jacked up, you know your value. You know what degrees you have. You know your skill set. But all I'm seeing is from the outside in, and what I say that's worth is that you're not no, ma'am, you're not touching me. You're not doing my hair because I've assigned a different value, or I've assigned a different worth. based on what I see. And that's what people do. They're going to assign worth to you based on what they see. And it's up to you to show them different, to be different, to step up different, to stand out different, and to show up different. Set your standard for your value and then show up that way. And above all else, get over worrying about what people say. Get over it. That was the one thing I had to tell myself before I was able to lose 200 pounds, before I had the courage to move to Arizona, before I had the courage years ago to tell my husband I wanted a divorce. I had to get over some things. And one of the biggest things I had to get over was what other people think. You don't get to assign my worth. I will set the standard for my value. And yeah, I even still will fall short sometimes. I will disappoint my damn self. But guess what? That doesn't change what I value myself as. It doesn't change the value that I see in myself and the value that I know that I can contribute to the team, to the relationship, to the family, to the world. It just means I messed up. So what? If a house has a leaky roof, do you burn the whole house down? Hell no. You fix the hole. That's what you have to do. When you set the standard and you fall short, fix it. Fix it. It's not rocket science. Fix it. If you don't know how to fix it, get a coach. Get a mentor. Get a trainer. Go read a book. Google it. I don't care. Fix it. If you got one flat tire on your car, you don't go flatten the other three so they match? No, hell no, you fix it. You bring that flat tire and you put air in it and you bring it up to the standard of the tires that all have air in them. You understand? So don't ever get confused and think that the worth that somebody else assigns to you has any damn thing to do with the value that you bring to the world. That's up to you to know that. That's up to you to be able to convey the message. You stand up, you show up, you deliver it. But you do not internalize what somebody else tells you you're worth. So, all right, let me get off my soapbox for today. So I hope that clears up the questions that came up about the difference between worth and value and why I made the post that I made. Because other people, worth is assigned externally, value is assigned internally. I will always set my own value. I will always set that standard. And if I fall short, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to course correct. I'm going to get the tools in my toolbox that are going to help me to get back to the standard that I have set for myself. No matter what you see my worth as. I'm like that handkerchief. I'm priceless. I might look like trash to you laying on the table. But to somebody, to someone, and to myself, I'm priceless. All right. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining me for Truth Talks. Marci, Batiste here, your Ultimate Power Coach. And I will talk to y'all later. As always, thanks for living life on Mars and being part of the Ultimate Power team. I'm out of here. Have a great day.